What's up? It's Mike Mal, and you are listening to the Athletor Podcast, where we dive into the processes, mindsets, strategies of some of the most successful athletes and coaches from all walks of life. Athletor Podcast coming at you. This one is for the wrestling heads, the guys that don't leave the room, the guys that watch a ton of film. This one is for you, Jordan Oliver. Listen, Jordan and I speak at length and in great detail about feel, about technique, about systems, about tactics. This guy is an absolute treasure trove of information and insight into the sport of wrestling, and you get to peek under the hood at what has made him such an incredible athlete his entire career. All that plus tons more coming up on the Athletor Podcast. Don't go nowhere, son. Hey, everyone knows that wrestling is 90% mental. We're super excited to have partnered with Wrestling Mindset, the #1 wrestling specific mindset program in the world. Make sure to sign up at wrestlingmindset.com using promo code Athletor25 for a $500 discount. Stop underperforming and losing to guys that you should beat. Athletor Podcast, Jordan Oliver, the man, the myth, the legend. First time we're having somebody on this podcast that has made someone's Mount Rushmore, I believe. Is that correct, Joel Shaw?
I think so.
I believe so. Mario Mason put you on his all-timers.
I saw that.
That's pretty cool. Like
That is.
like to be mentioned in the same breath as the Gables, the Johns, the Kales. I mean, it's something because and I don't know that it was for the exact same reasons as everyone else, right? Like John rattled off 6 in a row, right? That's incredible. JB makes the list because he's the most decorated freestyle wrestler that we've ever had. But I think one of the things that put you on the list, and the more I think about it, the more I tend to agree with Mario, is your ability to feel and to change the dynamics of a wrestling match is pretty impressive, and it's pretty uncanny, really. Where does that come from, Jordan? Can you, let me rephrase that, can you teach that?
You can, right? But even where it comes from, it's the multiple years of being under great coaches. And I was talking to Joel before we even kind of jumped into it, of just every move that I've made, every position I put myself into. Yes, I was moving around a lot, but if you look, the coaches that I was under, even starting from high school under the legendary Steve Powell, right? And then moving on to Oklahoma State, you have Eric Guerrero and, guys like Coleman Scott that are training, John Smith, Kenny Monday, Chris Pendleton, Tyrone Lewis. So I've been a sponge everywhere I went, right? I left Oklahoma State. I went to Arizona State under the watchful eye of Zeke Jones, who just came off of being the USA wrestling coach. And one of the biggest coaches, that might have not been the most technical for me, but was one of the most helpful, Lee Pritz.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody that I speak to goes, oh no, he's the dude behind the dude.
Yep. He is a grinder and he works his butt off, and he's been at a couple different places, and everybody that he's ever come across or touched, I guarantee they have nothing but nice things to say, but they're like, Lee's my guy. Lee's my guy. But even like you move from there, we brought in Hyson Garcia, but I moved from Arizona State. I go to Cornell. I get to train with Yanni and help Yanni win his first national title and kind of help him develop as a senior level athlete. So much that he kicked my butt that year.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you got Kyle Dake, who is a lifelong dream to train with, right? If I were to say two sides of the wrestling spectrum, I was way offensive over here. Kyle was way defensive over here.
Sure.
Right? And then you have Rob Cole and Mike Gray and Damian Hahn. And then you see me leave there and I go straight to North Carolina for the Olympic run with the Coleman Scott. One of my, you can say rivalries in college, but really he's 1-0 against me. Tony Ramos,
Mhm.
right? To learn the knowledge from him. And then Kenny Monday sitting there, who I've got with at Okie State and RTC, right? And then the list goes on, right? I go to NYC RTC and I'm under another Olympic champ being Kendall Cross
Yeah.
and then Valentin Kalika, right? So all of these guys that I'm coming across, I'm not only observing how they coach, the techniques they're showing, but I'm taking in the systems and taking in these little gems, right? And not necessarily being the person to be like, hey, you got to do it this way or this way. It was more so, wrestling's an art and it's being creative. So it's painting your own canvas. So everybody that I've trained under, trained with, trained side to side next to, uh, I've always taken from them, and kind of added it to my style, right? So one of the biggest is.
Hey, don't go anywhere. It's Mike. We'll get back to the podcast in just a second. We got to pay the bills though. Do you have an athlete that's looking to break into the social media space? We at athletorlive.com have a brand new in-depth tutorial done by none other than Caden Henshaw. If you don't know who Caden is, he's not even a Division I wrestler, yet he's got hundreds of thousands of engaged followers. Learn how to create engaging content, grow your followers, and open up new opportunities in the NIL space. Go to athletorlive.com/Caden and we'll give you the first module completely free.
One of the biggest is Coach Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He always brought to me, how do we switch a guy from being offensively mindseted, like have a mindset to attack, to how do we switch it to make him think defense?
Mm-hmm.
Switch him into a defensive mindset, right? And that's where it kind of started flourishing for me, because coming out of high school, I was a contact wrestler.
Yeah.
There was spurts, moments I was explosive athletic, so I can get, to attacks from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And, I worked. One of the biggest things before I even get into John was, one of my coaches in high school was Barry Snyder. Huge for me.
Yeah.
His son happens to be this guy named Brian Snyder.
The doctor.
Yes. So Brian, when Brian's in college and he's watching my wrestling, but he threw me one of the biggest gems, in high school. He's like, hey, even if you're not going to take shots from the outside, Jordan, you're so athletic, your movement's so good, you need to fake. Make these guys want to touch you. And then all of a sudden, my slide bys and my wrap arm, my dump singles became more available, right? And I'm keeping guys off balance. But then when I got to John, he took it to a whole nother level of just studying. I studied John, I studied him, and then getting to work with him. That's when I became a real outside wrestler. Like, I didn't have to touch you. I had to started getting into the low singles. If you did touch me, I got to the elbows. But the mindset, John wasn't just technical coach, right? He could change the whole match of the mindset of the match. He's like, if you're faking and you're getting this guy reacting, this guy is not thinking, how am I going to score? He's thinking, I got to keep this guy off of me.
Right.
Right. So I want to say it's a collaboration of all these coaches, but the two biggest coaches that, when I think about changing a match, right, and any wrestler I wrestle, it's how do you stop their flow, right?
Yes. Yes. How do you interrupt their flow?
Yes.
That's hard. That is hard because you immediately want to, right? But sometimes it's not that,
Yep.
right? So, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. I love that, because sometimes you have to throw a fake. And, what was really big for me is getting with at Oklahoma State, you start wrestling all of these guys that aren't contact wrestlers, right? All of them are starting to hand down, stutter toe, stutter toe, stutter toe. You're like, oh my God, everybody's in the outside, right? How do I even touch them? And then I start thinking, okay, what is the worst wrestler for me to wrestle? Like, who would it be? And then I always got back to John's always like, your biggest critic is yourself, right? So the biggest guy that would ever give me trouble before, it was a lefty,
Mm.
right? Because you really get lefties, and I'm a lefty, was the guy that moved like me.
Mm.
So how do you interrupt movement? How do you interrupt that guy's flow? If you just let me fake and move
All day.
freely off of my fake,
Good luck.
you're in trouble. I'm starting to be creative. I created the 1, 2, 3 and attack already just from your reactions that I'm reading, right? If you wrestled a guy like Burroughs, like you can't sit there and be a sitting duck, right? And you kind of see it, right? One of the examples, I hate to use it, but the first time Kyle Dake ever finally, climbed that mountain, you see at the Olympic trials, Kyle's starting to move,
Mm.
right? And he's not a sitting duck no more. And Burroughs can't pinpoint, okay, I hit him here, pick up the leg, I can drive him out, right? Now he has to try to pinpoint where Kyle's going to be. And at the highest level of wrestling, you need this much extension. Now Kyle's chest rack can work. Now things of that nature can work. So it's like, how do you stop these guys' flow? For Oklahoma State, the biggest rivalry was Iowa, right? So a fake was always necessary and needed because even if you thought about hand fighting Iowa guys, you wanted to fake and get them a little bit off balance so their lead foot was just maybe 2 inches not in the same spot of where they drill and practice it every day and they're not comfortable. They're just a little bit off balance.
2 inches. 2 inches can make the difference.
Yeah. Even, if I'm being anal about it, it's 1 inch, an eyelash, right?
Yeah.
The higher the level you get, the smaller it is, right?
Mm.
Uh, and that's how I kind of when I'm teaching kids, I'm like, you don't need this, when we're going down systems. And every time I teach a kid, it's more so of not what I want you to do, but this is what you need to do to make whatever your number one shot is better, whatever your go-to attack is better, right? So, um, getting with John and even before that, like I said, Brian, these guys have planted that seed in my head, right? Of
Mm.
where, okay, fake. And now I'm keeping a guy off balance. If he's off balance, his position's never good. The first thing you learn in wrestling,
Yeah.
your position
Oh,
is
they're
everything.
on roller skates. They're on roller skates, right?
And now you got them, guys, if they're in position, they're thinking of good habits. The bad habit is laying, it's like an onion. It lays a couple surfaces down.
Mm.
When they have good position, they can protect it,
Mm.
right? And that's what I think the biggest, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the biggest thing from high school to college wrestling is guys get real good in position, right? And then there's the programs, and there's some guys that just explode technically as well. But when you see some of these guys and they get to college, their position gets very, very good. It's like, how do I break that position? I know he likes to reach here, but his position's so good. How do I get him to reach there? Right. And
Mm.
you start chopping back these little layers of now that I got him reacting and he's a little bit off balance, he feeds me the post that he wants to do. But if he's in good position, he's not going to give you that post because he knows, okay, if I give him this post, he's going to hit this shot. You start throwing them a little illusions and keeping them off balance, and all of a sudden that bad habit arises. There's
Mm.
your post, there's your low single, or whatever it might be.
Whatever it is, right? All right. All right. So you're dancing in the middle of art and science, right?
Yeah,
The art is the creativity that's involved with those fakes. The art is the creativity involved with the hand fight. The art is all those things combined, but the science still becomes post-high crotch or drop low single or whatever, right?
right.
So now that you're getting into coaching, and we're going to get into that because you're like you got a full docket, son. You're wrestling, you're fighting, and now you're wanting to coach at a high level. As you're teaching kids, how do you get them? Because it and this we could go off on a tangent about how kids learn and how maybe the school system doesn't provide them the best scaffolding to take in information all the time. I know it didn't for me, right?
Right.
But how do you get them to learn the nuts and bolts, which is the science aspect of it, and then switch over to, well, you got to make this yours too. And that's the art aspect of it.
Right. I think you take when you're starting to work with kids, it's kind of don't overwhelm them with the information. Um, it's I like when I'm coaching kids, I like them to tell me. I'll start off if it's a private, if it's a clinic, whatever it might be. I walk in a room and I got a bunch of high level guys. I'm like, hey, right, show me or tell me what's your number one.
Mhm.
What's your number one go to shot? If I were to say single leg, most of them it's single leg. Some of them it's high crotch. Um, a lot of them will say double leg. And then you have your kids that are like, oh, it's a headlock or inside trip. And I'm like, oh man. But everything starts with the same thing, right? It's build that base. And I kind of take them back and I'll put videos up of all the high level wrestlers, all the guys that they love to watch, right? There's a few outliers, such
Mhm.
as, and I always use like Yanni and those guys that can almost do everything, right? And I make it an example that yes, those are outliers of the sport. The
Mhm.
Satievs, those guys, those are
Freaks.
outliers of the sport,
Freaks.
right? But also, I also mention like, hey, yes, they can do everything, but except Satiev because you kind of had no holes.
Mm.
And I use Johnny because Johnny's so freaking good and he has the ability, to win world titles. Took a silver medal, but when I show them matches, I'm like, now these are the holes that they present as well.
Mm.
So it's a blessing and the curse, right? It's like they can do all these moves, but also they have all of these holes. So if they can score 100 points, you can also score 102 points on that,
Mm.
right? Now you get into the mental realm. But when I teach these people, I show a Jordan Burroughs, I show myself, I show a John Smith, right? They're moving between realms of 1 to 2 shots only,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Low single high
Even
crotch. Low single high crotch. JB's got a single leg. He's got a double leg and a go behind.
and they got so good. John got so good at the low single that he was dominant with it. The competition did their homework,
Everybody knew. The whole world knew
and it opened up what
that high
his
crotch.
high crotch.
Yeah.
And now he moved between them two realms. And then obviously he added on.
Yeah.
It's not even adding on because when John teaches you a fake, the first thing he's thinking about, right? I remember when I got to Oklahoma State, he's like, what is the first thing you think about on your fake? I'm like, what shot I'm hitting? Smack me upside my head, right? No. I'm like, what is it then? He's like, sprawl, because you can give up your leg. And then you sprawl to easy go around takedown for you,
Ooh,
right?
that one got me.
So when you start showing these kids, hey, JB moves double leg, go around to set up his double leg. Guess what he'll do sometimes? It's the same thing as a go around. He'll pull head, try to hit your single. You step out of the single, maybe he gets it. It's a takedown, or he's wrestling into a single. But if he doesn't, you're squaring back up and you're going
Just
right
get
back
double.
into his double leg,
There's a
right?
double.
John was the same thing. Now, if you even break down the David Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
David's going to pull on you, try to pick here, you pull it back. He's going to switch hands. He's going to pick other side.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to move between those realms. And I show these kids that what we're doing, you know, comes with having great position. But what we're doing is not spectacular. We're chaining it together and it looks very beautiful and it works at a high level, but it's not like we're doing duck, drag, shrug, double,
Yeah.
single, right? Everything
Right. Right.
everything branches off of maybe a duck comes in, or I say the funk, right?
Right.
When you hit like a duck or a drag or something like that, that comes in from me faking and attacking. For me, it was my single leg. You put your hands on me, then my slide by came, right? If you didn't, I single legged you. But everything came from one.
Can we talk about that slide by that you have? Because it's a beautiful thing, and you got so good at it that you were able to do it. And this is the only person, and Satiev Buvasar specifically was the only other person I ever saw being able to do elbow control slide bys without going to the head. You would just pass it by, and there's an ankle. How do you develop that feel, Jordan? Like like everything has to be so precise for that to work out, right? Like I can muscle. Asgaroff type elbow control slide by where I go to the collar for sure.
Right.
Right. But when you're just passing it by and like cartwheeling into a low ankle single, that takes
It's
a lot of feel, bud.
and it's just years of okay, me attacking my single, me attacking my single. These guys now are threatened from the single, right? They're starting to put pressure forward. Even this is how I tell wrestlers, even when you fake or whatever you do and you get a reaction, the reaction isn't visible sometimes.
Mm.
It's that split second that their central nervous system kind of cinches.
Right.
Goes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Inside, it goes from 0 to 100 really, really quick,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes it's not visible to the eye, right? And
Mhm.
you're moving at a fast pace when you're wrestling. But that cinch either does two things, right? If I'm not making contact, usually the guy's going to be sitting. He like
Mhm.
loads his haunches.
Yeah.
So that's when I know I can blow through him. Or his feet are heavy. I can hit him with a single leg or a double leg.
Mhm.
Or he gets into you just a little bit. He reaches, he's not necessarily falling over, but he gives you just enough pressure, right? That if your position's good and you're looking for it, you're just on that elbow, you look it off, right? And you're turning that corner, creating an angle, and he's falling straight down in front of you, right? But it all comes
You
off of
make it
what?
sound so simple. It's not. I mean, look, I love you. I love you. But this is not simple to most folks. Like, understand that what you're talking about. And I think the one that and this is going back, and you wrestled in the Dapper Dan, right? Back when it was the Dapper Dan.
Yep.
I remember you hitting one, and I'm like, he just disappeared on him. He just disappeared on him. It was the guy was coming at you. Your butt was on the line. You low ankle attack, fake, and he just went to reach for you right
Yep.
over. I'm like, good Lord, that's a different level.
But the same thing, right? This is what I'm telling kids like, what you learn the first day, it doesn't change because what I won my national title with my senior year, same exact thing,
Yeah.
right? Fake single, he touches me, put his hands down with 13 seconds left. There's an NCAA Division One national title,
Hmm.
right? From the same things that I have kind of been developing. The first shot I learned when I was 4 years old was a wrap arm single leg,
Hmm.
right? I got the privilege to know who Jack Kuvo was,
Hmm.
right? And worked with Jack Kuvo a little bit. And, it just so happened my shot was the wrap arm single. And the same shot I've won a state title with, the same shot I won a national title with, and I even made the Olympic team with. It's a dang wrap arm single,
Hmm.
right? And it got more efficient. I was able to shave 0.25 seconds off of it every level, excuse me, that I jumped. But it wasn't anything crazy that I changed. My position got better, right? It made me aware of, different things that can happen from me faking to the wrap arm single, whether he takes a shot, whether he touches me, whether he clubs me,
Hmm.
whatever, they present it. Me as a wrestler and being creative, I always called it a riddle. I'm like, maybe you solve my riddle and I can't get to my wrap arm single, but I'm going to solve the riddle of yours. After you stop me once, I'm going to solve that riddle. And then after I solve that riddle and score, are you prepared to keep going riddle for riddle? Right. So, developing this and getting back even to the question is the things that you learn on the first day, you're going to find out. And that's what I tell these kids is the same things that you're going to learn to work on and get better at the highest level when you're trying to win, whether your goals are a state title, national title, world or Olympic title, right? So those things have never changed. And I just been, lucky to realize that and stay in that realm. And I've had coaches to guide me and, throw me little gems and, okay, how do I incorporate this and put this in? So like even the slide by, you know, it's a blessing and a curse because yes, I won many titles with it, but I remember my first US Open. Me and Kellen Russell were in short time. Now, Kellen's somebody I trained with, and it goes all the way back from the Easton and Blair, but we used to train at a little kids club, and Easton was known for shrugs, and I went to go shrug. At the time, I used to do the wrap over the hand,
Mhm.
grab the inside elbow and shrug it. And me just being, anxious to get the score to win this match, I go to shrug, Kellen steps in, singles me. So then you even see my shrug change a little bit to where I start going cross arm on some of my slide bys,
Mm-hmm.
where I go on that elbow and I suck the hand to me. So now I have it trapped. So even if I do go to slide by, I own that arm. He can never drop it down and go single.
Right.
Right. And it's the same. Then that's the same slide by I end up winning a national title with, but same slide by I start using against all of these higher level guys. That's either I score or I score.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, right? I score with the slide by or I hit the slide by, you circle out, it sets me up for my single leg, it sets me up for my post, it sets me up for my pick, whatever it might be, but I'm scoring in every scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's learning how to take what you're really good at, don't overwhelm the kids and build a system off of it. And I think that's where John like really ingrained into me, like, we're gonna fake, we're gonna fake, we're gonna fake at the low singles there also. Hopefully he takes a shot to easy get your leg back, go around. But not everybody's gonna do the same thing.
Right.
Sometimes I'm gonna fake, the guy's gonna post his backhand, there's my post double A. Sometimes I'm gonna fake, he's gonna post his hand, I'm gonna post, show him the double A, he's gonna
Drop it.
get butt back, I'm gonna snap down, cover him, run the angle. Or I'm gonna drop under, grab elbows, pull him over the top, right? But everything started out with this base. So when I teach little kids, I show them all these high level guys. Hey, who do you like? Who's your favorite wrestler? And then I take them through the video and I'm like, look, this is what he's doing. And this is his flow from start to finish. This never changes. Now, this sets up his single leg or his high crotch or his double.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he chain wrestles into it. So even a kid that's like inside trips, my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so you got to fake. You
Yeah.
don't got to fake, or you got to move to that back leg and you got to start pawing at him, right backhand, getting him reacting, and maybe take a shot, knowing that his position's great. He's
He's
going to
gonna
down
pick it.
block, underhook you, and pull you up.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're right into there, bub.
Yeah.
Inside trip.
Right. All right. So let's get a a recount of exactly what your life is like now. It's changed a little bit. You got a little boy that you got to worry about now too. That's pretty cool.
Right. It's awesome. It is
But
awesome.
but you're full-time MMA, you're full-time wrestling, and you're starting to coach now too. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So what is your day like? There's only 24 hours in a day, bud. What does your day look like?
So usually MMA, I'm up, you know, well, before I'm even up for MMA practice, I'm up about 6:30 with the little one. His
Mhm.
name's Micah. Best gift I ever received. It's so heartwarming just to wake up every day. Some days it's harder than others,
Sure.
right? And just watching this kid grow and change. He just turned 6 months, so I even my mindset about how I go about things and what I really wanted to do has changed. But I'm up about 6 a.m., 6:30 every morning, and especially if I have practice, I try to fill those hours in with spending time with him before he gets his nap, probably around 10. And then 10 o'clock, I have my first MMA practice, on Monday, 10 o'clock all through the week.
Mhm.
Saturday it ends. Come back, and usually before our 4 o'clock practice, I'll do a private
Mhm.
or I'll help a group of kids, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock of coaching. And right now, I take on as many as I can, but I'll coach those kids and put them through a workout. And then 4 o'clock rolls around. I'll do my 4 o'clock workout, whether it's kickboxing, boxing, and that ends about 5:30. And then I have this one kid who, I like to pat myself on the back. I never thought there would be somebody that can move like me. And he's not even on the radar. He's a junior in high school. He's beating ranked kids. Unreal. He just got injured, so he right before his state, so he didn't even get to win his state title. His name's Zoltan.
Say it again.
His name's Zoltan.
Zolton.
TAN, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kid's unbelievable. When I tell you, I've never seen somebody be able to mimic me
Mm-hmm.
in wrestling and understand it and start seeing things the way I see things. I'm like baffled. Like
Really?
anybody I come across, I'm like, you got to watch this. And I got a video of them. I'm like, you got to watch this kid, watch this kid. And they're like, holy crap. When I tell you from the fakes to the vision that he's seeing. So after my 5:30, I'll do a one-on-one with someone where we'll
Mm-hmm.
just wrestle and wrestle. Right. And this kid is so good. I think a little bit of the aspect is he understands MMA. So it kind of desensitized wrestling for him. Right. He'll fake and not pull out of his fakes because he's not worried about a kid clubbing him, a
Mm-hmm.
kid covering his head because he grew up fighting since he was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's worried about a kid punching him in the face or kneeing him or elbowing him and choking him.
Sure, sure.
So wrestling to him, he's like, what can they do? Are they just going to grab my leg? They're going to grab my head. And it makes it so much easier because there's always that, and I'm getting a little bit off the tangent here, but there's always that I call a cylinder. I call it the bubble theory. When you start wrestling, you're outside this bubble. Everything's very lackadaisical.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you fake and enter the bubble, right, just like in fighting, but when you fake and enter that bubble, you know, okay, this guy can put hands on me, he can shoot. I'm within striking range.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes from 0 to 100. But there's always a bubble that you maneuver on the outside. That's when your nice motion's coming. That's when you're making wrestling look pretty.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you enter the bubble in tight position, now it's kind of okay, game's on. It's either I put my hands on him and move him to my score, or I blast through him, or I'm in that bubble. And if I don't have no intentions of attacking him, I am outside that bubble. But when I'm coming out that bubble, I'm in position, and that's when he's gonna, I get him falling over a little bit, and he reaches and he falls into my post or my snaps.
Sure.
So
Sure.
this kid understands that just from fighting, right? And fighting, you get kicked as soon as you step into the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So watching him, I'll go 5:30 with him for however long he wants to go. Some days it could be freaking 40 minutes. Some days we're sitting there scrapping for 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I come home, my lady is like, "Where you been?" I'm like, "You know where I've been." She's like, "Zoltan." Excuse me. I'm like, "Yes." Uh, so every day is kind of that. And luckily, I took a month before I just got back to go visit family,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and introduce the little one to all of his siblings, his cousins, his grandmother, grandfather, because we live down here in Florida. Um, but every day is kind of that schedule. Tuesday, I'm up. And then, even Tuesday nights after that, or it's either after at 7,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what my boxing coach wants, I'll drive to Miami and do my boxing with the Cubans, or he's Cuban, or he'll come to the gym because he trains at our gym, and we'll do that at 2:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do a 30-minute session of mitts, what we're looking for and what we need to get better in. And then 3 o'clock it starts again. I help.
What, hold on. What was the hardest part for you to learn in MMA?
Ah,
Can't imagine it was jujitsu. I'm assuming it was striking, yeah?
yes. And it's just what hurts me is I'm a perfectionist,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's a little bit of something to be said is when you're a kid and you don't know what perfection is and you don't know kind of what the most efficient way is and you kind of just jump in the deep end, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're figuring it out, but those high level guys are always critiquing. You're always critiquing, okay, what can I do to change this and make this better, make this better? I have such a high level coming from wrestling that I always am critiquing. Even if my coach goes, dang, that was great. That was great. I'd be like, that's terrible. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna get beat up if I go out and do that. He's like, no, and he'll show me the video and it looks awesome. But there's just these feels that I have from wrestling that I'm like, and I know when I go into sparring or I use it and I'm like, something's a little bit different,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's almost like it goes back to the wrestling where you're like, you need competition. You need to go get those reps, 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 right? So me, what hurts me is I want my striking to be Ilya Taporia right
Mm-hmm.
away. And they're like, dude, that's years of building. I'm like, well, I don't got ears. I got the mind to build it, but I don't got ears to do this, you
Right.
know? So the striking for sure, everybody thinks they know, the striking, there's so much of, you know, even throwing the 1-2s and everybody's like, oh, go learn boxing. Well, boxing is good, but you got to think in boxing, you have 14-ounce gloves, which we call pillows on your hands, right? And you can stand in the pocket, and when you close your guard, they
Not
can't.
gonna hit. Yeah.
The game changes when a guy puts on those 4-ounce gloves that only protect their knuckles. And when they punch you, you feel everything through it. You're like, whoa. And you go to block, and he slips a jab through it, or he slips a jab over the top and hits you. And you're like, it's a little bit different. You get cracked, right? Yeah. You feel the shocks in your toes. You're like, I don't know if I should take another step because I don't know if I'm going to start wobbling or not, right? So I think the hardest part is the striking, right? And also, like, what's helped me is understanding spacing from wrestling. My footwork, my movement's so good that I never take damage, right? I'll move before I let somebody. I'm a sit and duck and let somebody just start throwing kicks and punches. Yeah, right. Because you get hit with a kick, I tell you what, you get hit with a kick, you find out real quick, right?
Bro.
And imagine in training, you have these shin guards that are this thick.
Yeah.
Still, when they kick you, you're like, oh my God.
Leg kicks are the absolute worst. Dude,
People do not understand.
miserable.
It's the worst. You get hit and you're just like, it almost shut down your leg. You don't want to yell. You don't want to
Like
step. It is unreal. So, and I'm getting kicked with these shin guards at first, and I'm like, I don't want no business in that, right? So I made sure to develop my leg kicks first, where I'm like throwing little leg kicks. Because if you're thinking in wrestling, right? I think of a wrestling mind. The first, the first line is your hands, but what can I beat his hands with? It's my fake, right? You still bring that over into fighting. It's your feints, and then it's your hands. But in fighting, it's your feints to then your kicks because your legs are longer than your arms, most cases, right? So the longest distance that you can manage, the fight with are kicks. And then once he starts pressing a little bit, now he's within arm's reach and I can start managing with either my hands or my up down and my takedowns.
Right.
Right. So the hardest part by far is the striking because you're learning so much, and everybody you fight, they have a different style. They have a different combo they like. One's good with his right hand, one's good with his left hand. One wants you to come in and counter you over the top. Another one wants you to keep you back and he's kicking you from afar and he's landing kicks right in teep kicks in your solar plexus. And I'll tell you what, like Bo said it best. He's like, it's the accumulation, but not even. You take one to you tighten up and you take one to the solar plexus or the liver, you're like, and you're trying to have that poker face where you're like, oh, don't hurt. That goes right out the window. Like my first week, I got hit so hard that there's this pole. So in our gym, you got to ring a bell if you get dropped. Luckily, I've never got dropped yet. Some guys are very nice to me, let's say it that way. But first week, I got hit, teep kick right to the liver. And just me being me, I'm like, I'm not ringing that dang bell. There's this pole in the middle of the room, and I'm just running around it. I'm circling around this thing. I'm like, this is fair. Yeah, this is fair game. Like, it's like you punch your older brother. I used to punch my older brother. This is how I used to tell it. I used to punch my older brother, and I'd run outside and get behind the car, and I'd be like, bro, I'm just going to keep you on the side of that car. You're going to stay on that side, and if you circle, I'm circling, right? And that's how it was. I got hit, and I started running around this dang pole until I recovered. It took a good 30 seconds.
Yeah.
If you take a liver shot, at first you're like, oh, I'm good. And then second creeps in, you're like, oh. And then the body starts shutting down. You're like, I'm not good. I'm not good. And there's no injury time, There's like, I'm trying to call timeout. They're like, none of that. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Slip right behind this pole, and I'm just circling around it. I'm like, catch me if you can, dude.
That's so great. All right, we're butting up on time right now. What is in store? You said you're probably a fight away from a UFC deal. You're probably, depending upon weight class, probably somewhere around 2-3 on the ladder for wrestling. You're wanting to start a club. Where are your focus? Where is your focus right now?
Right now, my focus is obviously, fighting, and, not until the final X,
Mhm.
wrestling start creeping back in. Right. And I just don't think I'm finished. Even the last trials I went to, I trained 3 days. I was
Mhm.
10 days off of a fight, ripping leg kicks. And still, I'm not going to say I was right there with James, because James wrestled a really good match. Loved
Sure.
easy
Yeah.
and took me out of the match. But I was starting to make a comeback, and I'm just like, imagine if I just, you know, focus for, and I don't want to sound cocky or anything like that. And I don't want kids to ever take this, oh, I can only train 3 months. But even for me, it was like, if I could have focused for 2 or 3 months on this, I could have been the guy again. Right. But
Mhm.
now seeing Final X and just, I want to scratch that itch. Right. For me, wrestling is so dear to my heart, and I love wrestling, not because I want the spotlight, but I think I owe it to myself and my legacy to go on and win a world title, and put myself in position to go and win a world title. I think, since I was 4 years old, my vision has been, I want to be an Olympic champ. I want to be a world champ. I want to be the best in wrestling. And I've taken all those steps. Um, so, you know, a big focus, obviously, you got to focus on fighting. But even now, getting with having my son, you start
Mhm.
thinking longevity, right?
Mhm.
When I'm 60 years old, those wars I'm going to get in, are they going to take a toll on my brain? Are they going to take a toll on my
Yeah.
body?
Yeah.
Right. So I
Think.
don't, that my world has been flipped kind of upside down with that. Uh, so obviously it's fighting, obviously right now, but wrestling has creeped back into where even next year, and I haven't told anybody, this is the first time I'll come out and say it, is I am going to go back out for the USA team. And I am going to not just go back out. I'm not trying out. I'm going to claim a spot on that team so I can put myself in position to win a world title. I think it'll be the best, even my son growing up, of the trials and tribulations that I've been through, of even if I don't win, showing him that you never give up on something that's so important to you, no matter the circumstances. And in doing so, when the time comes, I want my own club. I want to get back to the sport that's given me everything, that's given me my platform, that's made me into the person I am. But I want those kids to have that opportunity, right? I never thought wrestling was going to take me this far as a young kid growing up in Easton. Most of the time, most of
I
the
had a good
kids,
idea it was going to take you that far.
yeah.
Like
Well,
I just saying. I was
I
like, oh
just,
yeah, he's got it.
yeah. I just never thought, and now that I'm here, I'm like, I want not just one. If I was the one out of 50 kids, I want 2 out of 50. Just another one is a win for me,
Mhm.
right? But I feel like I can make, if it's 50 kids, I can take 30, 40 and change those kids' lives and put them in a direction, not only for sports, but put them in a direction in life that is going to help them succeed on the mat, excuse me, and off the mat. And I think that's something special, right? To be able to do that for kids and give back. And like I said, it's not about me anymore. It's about my son. So one day or another, you know, and I say this, and I said this to Burroughs, and he's like, get out of here. I'm like, my son will never know I wrestled until the day he comes home and somebody has told him, hey, your dad is so and so. That's the day he'll find out. But I
Mhm.
want my son to grow up with no pressure. Um, and I know it's going to be soon. As soon as he's able to comprehend, he's going to find out. But I want him to make that choice. And when he does, I want to be there for him, to step him through wrestling, and also, you know, give him an atmosphere to be successful. And then when all said and done, I want to step away from the sport. I don't know if I ever want to. Um, I have something special to give him and offer him. Whether that's, having the club, or maybe he takes the club and sells it. But it puts him in a position to be in a 10 times better position than I was at his age and growing up.
All right. All right. Is it going to be in Easton or is it going to be down in Florida?
Oh, it's going to be Easton. It's going to be home.
Okay. I love it. It makes me so happy that you are just straight Lehigh Valley. I can't. It warms
To
my
the
heart.
bones. To the bones. I give back to the community that has helped shape me, mold me, but bringing something special to the valley, and like I said, my son's everything. So being able to have it there and him grow up with his cousins and siblings, uh, grandfather, grandmother, his uncles. I think that is something that's special. I had a family growing up, and they helped guide me in the right ways. And I think for him, I would be doing a disservice. As much as I want to help Florida and I want to help wrestling as a whole,
Mhm.
um, I would be doing a disservice to my son, not having family around. And it's the Lehigh Valley. You don't
It's the
get too much
valley, baby.
better,
It's the valley. That's
you
where it
know.
stops right there. It's
Yeah,
the valley. All right. We're getting to our sprint right now. Don't think too much, Jo. Just fire away. You ready?
ready.
Here we go. Best wrestling shoe of all time.
Oh, John Smith Ultralight.
Oh, I was wrong. Say it again.
John Smith Ultralight.
Those were good. I was sure you were going to say combat speeds. I actually texted Joel. I'm like, he's going to say combats. All
I
right.
love them, but
They're
the
good.
John Smith Ultralight,
Yeah, those were dope. Yeah, yeah. The white ones. The white.
white and black ones, the
Oh,
netting, those are beautiful.
a great, great shoe. Okay. Give me a book recommendation. You talked about this high level of wrestling, a high level of just athleticism. Is there any book that you could recommend to people that would kind of give them a little bit more insight into that?
I would say, it's Habitual Atomic Habits.
Mhm.
Great book to read,
There.
right? You're talking
Not
about
the first
habits.
time that's been on the list too, right? I'm pretty sure it's been a couple times.
You
Atomic.
want a funny book? Go
Yeah.
and get Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights.
All right. All right. Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights, Atomic Habits. There we go. Oh, that's a
That one had me literally laughing out loud in my house.
really?
Yes.
I
You
might.
could, the way it's written, you could just hear Matthew McConaughey talking.
That's great.
It's so funny. It is hilarious.
All
That's
right.
just for a funny book. But Atomic Habits is great. I think everybody, everything, you create good habits, and you stay disciplined creating those habits, and good habits pay off, right? Whether that's in wrestling, whether that's in life.
Sure.
Uh,
That
yeah.
makes sense. Okay. All right. You only get four. They got to be American. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
I'm biased, man. I'm biased. We're gonna
All
say
right.
J Dub, John
Okay.
Smith, right? Uh, I want five, but
You don't get five. You only get four.
Kenny Monday,
Okay.
right? Big part of my life.
Sure.
Uh, Jordan Burroughs.
Yep.
Selfishly, it's one of my best friends, and accolades speak for themselves.
Sure.
The fourth spot, I've been sitting and pondering this. Uh, and this is just a pure wrestler,
Hmm.
and obviously successful. And it was between, I'm going to say who it was between.
Hmm.
It was between David
Hmm.
Taylor,
Hmm.
because not only as a wrestler, he's great, but he's stepping into another realm of wrestling, and he's freaking competitive first year.
Oh yeah.
Freaking. And I watched David, and I competed against David since we were young kids, knowing who
Sure.
David is. But who I'm going to put in that spot, Kyle Dake.
Yeah.
I mean, I've wrestled my share of guys from Chimizos and trained with him.
Hmm.
Kyle Dake not only knows his wrestling, he knows all spectrums, the outside life, how to take care of your body. I think he was one of the biggest, influences on my career that helped me, not even like just longevity,
Hmm.
but got me to understand, how to take care of the body and getting younger. But ever since I got with Kyle, my issues of weight and weight cutting and all of that. Now, I'm not saying I didn't weight cut, okay?
Mhm.
But after getting with Kyle, it made it very simple and easy for me to make weight, how to live, the nutrition I needed to feed my body, and also to evolve as an athlete. I was evolving in the room. I was staying stagnant and had a little couple bad habits outside the room that this guy, put into perspective and helped me change. Uh, and it just promoted growth outside the room, and then that carried inside the room. But when I say a pure like wrestler, there's nobody I've been in the room with and trained with and after and been like, I'm just not good. Literally, literally. So the first day I got the Cornell, Kyle has me in a body lock, and Rebecca, my lady's in the room, and he has me in a body lock, and he's just holding me in the air. My feet are dangling. And I just whisper in his ear, I'm like, dude, you better put me down. Put me down. My girlfriend is watching right now. So he put me down. We continue wrestling, and then maybe a couple weeks later, there's days where you're like, okay, I'm doing
Feel
great.
it. Yeah.
There's one day that he just smashed all hopes and dreams of my wrestling. I mean, beat me senseless. And talking about, I thought I was elusive. He was way more elusive than me. I thought I was good in scrambles. Couldn't even scratch the surface with him on scrambles. And just body locks from knowing every position of wrestling and being kind of good in. Like you watch the guy wrestling freestyle, he comes out that one year at Grapple at the Garden,
Mhm.
beats the world champ Greco guy, right? The guy can wrestle all different styles, but he is just so dang good. Like, and everybody always says this, but if he can wrestle the way he wrestles in the room every match, I don't know if there's anybody that would come in 20 points to this guy. But
You know what's funny, man? Listen, 4 NCAA titles at 4 different weights is incredible. It's incredible. You know, I was helping put together. Uh, I was helping out a friend with the Cowboy RTC, um, and they were going over results for Saeed and for Wyatt Hendrickson and all that. And I'm like, hey, you might want to mention that Zahid beat a 4-time world champion. They're like,
right,
Dave, you got 4? I'm like, yes, he does. 4-time world champion. We ain't even talking about the bronze medals at the Olympics.
right,
You don't mention them. We're talking about 4 times he has cut down to 74K and won world titles. One at 79. Like, this dude has to be on somebody's Mount Rushmore because
yeah,
there ain't many with 4. I mean, we're spoiled now because we got Snyder and we got JB and we're spoiled. But
yeah,
up until this run, you told somebody you had 4 world titles, you're one of the GOATs, period.
yeah. Exactly. 4 different weight classes, and this guy even one day, finishing the story, I went home and I was about to cry. I didn't go in my house. I sat down on the porch and I'm just sitting there. I'm like on the verge of crying. I'm like, because I'm just a perfectionist. So I'm like, there was nothing I can say to myself to be like, oh, I could have changed this position today. I could have changed this. I'll do this better. I just came to the simple fact that I just got my butt whipped, and Kyle Dake was just that good, right?
Mhm.
I'd watch this guy when Dean's training,
Mhm.
Gabe Dean.
Mhm.
I watched him go out and tech Gabe in like 20 seconds. I watched him wrestle Kyle Snyder when Kyle Snyder was winning world championships, do a match at the training center, beat Kyle. And he's 74 kilos, 79. I'm like, how's this possible?
I
Right?
remember, how about this? I'll take it a step further. I'll take it a step further. When I was still at Flow, it was during COVID and we were trying to put together matches. You remember that?
Yep.
He goes, get Sadulayev. I'll beat him. I'm like, this dude, and he was deadly serious.
Oh yeah.
Deadly serious. He's like, I'll beat him. I'm like, okay, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I would,
You're like, what
yeah,
the heck?
yeah. He was deadly serious,
And
man.
you probably would have beat him, to
And
be honest.
I don't put my money against him. I
Yeah.
don't put my money against him for sure. All right.
He's amazing.
Last one. Ready? you get a magic wand, you get to change one thing about the sport of wrestling, what would it be?
Man. Selfishly, because we're so good, and I'm just thinking more Olympic spots.
Okay. Okay. How many though? And that's a good it's a good follow-up question. I'll tell you why. I don't know if we need 10. I don't know what the number is, but I think we need more for sure. 6 is way too few.
Right. So if I was gonna say 10, but I would say 8 then. Let's do
Mhm.
8 because
Okay.
we have, in multiple different countries. I know not all the countries have, you know. And how about not even that? Let's do 2 spots per weight class to go
Oh, that'd be
to
dope.
the Olympics,
That'd be dope.
right? You got to split them up, right? And
That's
every
a by the
time,
way, they're I'm telling you right now, UWW is going to change. And here's what I mean by that. They're cracking down on the transfer to different countries rules in a big bad way. If you don't think opening up the brackets to qualify 2 athletes, and maybe it looks different. Maybe it's not just like Russia gets 2, US gets 2, Iran
right,
gets, maybe it's not like that. Maybe you got to qualify somehow.
right.
But to doesn't that solve some of the problems that these guys like? Look, Valiev left Russia, goes to Belarus, I guess. I think something like that. He beats Sidikov.
Right.
You're stabbing yourself in the foot right now, bud. You're cannibalizing your own sport.
That's right. And
100%, dude.
and when you get into those, even you look at it like you're like number 1 through 10, these guys got their shot. If it's not the number 1 and 2, the 3 through 10, they're freaking good and can win
They're
it too,
real good.
right?
Real good.
And that's a good problem USA's starting to have,
Sure.
where we're starting to stack up these weights,
Hmm.
right? If there was 2 guys, I think it would be amazing because people's expectations of who's going to win it, I think, on wrestling at the highest level, it's on that given day, right?
Hmm.
And on them given 2 days, when you get 2 days, right? Um, I think anybody can win it, and especially when you start getting into those other countries, it gets a little bit more political. Or this guy beat him, but this is who's wrestling.
Hmm.
It's going to change the game. And then with even you see U.S. right, you got guys like I say it because it's my buddy, but Miocic, who leaves, goes to Serbia, and
Win the
goes
world.
and freaking wins the world title,
Hmm.
right? You could solve some of those problems. I don't know if that was his plan all along, no matter what. But
I know he was looking at 61K and 57K going, that's a gauntlet. That's a gauntlet to go through.
it is
Yeah.
in U.S. It's like you got to get through freaking multiple national champs.
Hmm.
Maybe they're already a world champ or world bronze or whatever it might be, multiple time world member. USA is one of the hardest teams to make,
Absolutely.
right?
Just by sheer
So
numbers. Like everyone talks about Russia. That's great, but we have bigger numbers, right? Like
right.
we have bigger brackets. And it's hard to qualify for the World Team Trials, but just talking about the US Open, bro, it's a gauntlet, dude. Absolutely.
And people would hate me, but I'd be like, "There's no sit now. There's
Yeah.
no sit now." I get it; it's earned, but we know in wrestling, you got to be ready that day.
Yeah.
And in wrestling, matchups, styles,
Sure.
matchups, right?
Oh yeah.
So, I'm a little biased, but
Yeah.
that might have been a couple times of the years of Metcalf kicking my butt every time I got through the gauntlet
Sure.
and I had fresh Metcalf.
Yeah.
But even just looking at it, like you can wrestle a tournament 10 times and have maybe not 10 different winners. You might have 4
Sure.
different guys that pull through that tournament.
100%. And that's low ball. I'd say 5 or 6 for
Yeah.
sure.
So I'm trying to magic wand a whole bunch of things, but
That's all right. I like it though. I like it. These are big things. That's good. All right. Jo, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for jumping on with us, brother.
yes, I appreciated the time and the talk, Mike. I love talking with you.
I do.
Call me some more.
I
That's
will.
not even
I
just
want
you.
to check up on your boy Micah.
Heck yeah, heck
We're gonna
yeah.
send him some more stuff. We gotta send him some power gear. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
please.
appreciate you, brother.
I'm gonna send you a video of Burrow's got him a custom singlet that he fits now. 6
Oh,
months old.
yes.
And it's slime green. It's a USA formula and it says Oliver on the back. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
your son's never gonna figure out that you wrestled when you're getting singlets from when he's a
I
baby,
know.
custom made from him by Jordan
Right.
Burroughs.
Right.
But you know what's funny though, and I will say this, it just becomes like that's who my dad's friends are. He doesn't like what does he do? He wrestles or something? I don't know. But that's just their norm, right? Like, I forget one of the guys I was coaching with at the time comes into the room and Jack's learning an overhook position from Kendall Cross. Like literally is like this with Kendall, and Kendall's teaching him. And I'm serious, it probably went on for like 45 minutes, right? One of the assistant coaches at the club that I was working with comes in and is like, "Is that Kendall Cross working with your son?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." I didn't think, but it just didn't even. It's just
Yeah.
who my dad's friends are, It's,
Right.
it's no big deal.
Did your son know who Kendall was?
No,
Yeah, that's the cool
no
part.
idea.
Until
No
you tell him
idea.
after. Maybe there's a little part where he's going through it. He's like, "This guy don't know what he's talking about. This guy don't know what he's talking
Well, he
about."
actually had the balls to go, "Yeah, I don't know if that'll work." I'm like, "I think it'll work.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it'll
awesome.
work." Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen him do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "Really?" I'm like, he's like, "Where?" I'm like, the trials.
Right.
Come on, dude.
Maybe the Olympics.
Yeah, the Olympics. He's like, "Really?"
Right.
But no, he had no idea. But anyway,
That's
I
cool.
digress. Jordan Oliver, a 1 in a million type of person. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the time and the talk.
Wait. Don't go anywhere before you hit that next button. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, do us a huge favor. Click that subscribe button. And if you're so inclined, leave a review and share it.